So let's start at the beginning. Yeah? It is so easy. You can put it right down in your notes. You don't need to read anything. There are 3 orders of love.
Yes.
That's all you need to know. 3 orders of love. Yeah? The first order is the order of belonging.
Yes.
The second order is the order of precedence. And the third order is the order of balancing of giving and taking, giving and receiving. That's what we do today. Yeah? When you rewatch the videos, day 1 is the first order, day 2 is the second order, today is the third order.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah? When you watch the videos again, you only take out that, what you understand and what's important to you. This is often, I sometimes, and actually, Davey, I didn't answer your email, that I sometimes am asked if I can hand out the slides as a text. No, I can't. It's not meant to educate you. It's for me, so I don't forget to talk about things, you know? It's a visual reminder, if you will. What you need to do is to understand it. You need to understand it, rewatching the videos, understand it so it clicks. And then, once it has clicked, you forgot about it. You have to forget about it again. Because I don't want you, in a family constellation, when you are facilitating in the practice workshop, to look through your notes and use your mind. This is not, you cannot work like this. Yeah? Family facilitating, family constellation is connecting with the morphogenetic field of the family system. Let me give you an example. I probably haven't done that yet, but it's my favorite. What I teach you is like if you learn a craft or a trade. Let's say plumbing. Yeah? You learn plumbing. You learn everything about how pipes are connecting, yeah, to hoses and water sources. Yeah? Then you know how to use the tools that you have in your toolbox, one after the other. Yeah? And once you understand how water flows and what material to use and what tools to use, yeah, you are ready. You have everything in your plumber's toolbox. And when somebody calls you panicking, I have a leak in my kitchen, the water's everywhere. Yeah, you come, you look at the water, you trace this back where it, started. You see where the leak is, and because of what you learned, you grab in your toolbox and you just grab out the right tool, and then you fix it. Yeah, and for you, this is a no-brainer. It just happens. For your customer, it's magic because you solved the huge problem they couldn't. Yeah. Family constellation facilitating is exactly like this. You are a plumber. You are fixing things. You are fixing connections so that the water can flow again, the love can flow. That's all we do. And I give you the tools that you put in your plumber's box. Yeah. But when you come to a customer, when you have a leak, I'm talking about the plumber, you come to your customer, there is a leak, you are not throwing all your toolbox on the counter. Put them all nicely, A to B to Z, right? And then go through every tool and remember where you have it for, right? You don't do that. You grab the one tool that you need because it's in your box. You don't even think about the others. Huh? And that's exactly what you do in a family constellation. You don't think about everything. You don't think about the structure. Yeah? You observe, you see, there's the hole, there's the leak. Well, or in our case, the block, the rock in the stream. And then you grab in your toolbox, which is first order, second order, third order of love, whatever it is, it's just one thing, yeah? And then you apply it. Right? And I know it's daunting. We are just starting on the course. We didn't even go into any practice. Yeah. But patient. Bear with me. It works perfectly fine. It just,
Yeah.
you know, you will not miss out on anything. Yeah. But what I don't want you is to think just by having some paper in your hand, you got something valuable. You don't. That is
That's fine.
worth nothing. I tell you, it's worth nothing. Yeah.
Right.
Just to give you, I want you to understand it. Yeah. Just to give you another example, Bert Hellinger and even Sophie Hellinger, because they taught together in the Hellinger school, you got nothing in writing. Nothing, ever. Ever. Not one word. It was showing up to the workshops, observing, representing. You could ask a few questions in certain meetings. And that's it. And otherwise you read the books of Bert Hellinger. 50 there is actually. In German, not in English, but in German. That's what you do. And then you got to, yeah, then you had to write then you had to write a paper of 70 to 100 pages. And then you had a committee of 7 people that decided whether you got it after 4 years or not. So it's a practice. It's, you know, you learn your tools, but once you do it, you just need one. Yeah, that's what I want you to understand. So we just go now through everything step by step, and you will see I'm repeating all the time things, all the time.
Right.
And at one stage, maybe halfway through the course, it will all click together. You know, like a piece of puzzle. You know, where you have the puzzle and you think, what the heck is this? And then you have this one piece and you put it in your, oh, that's a cat head, you know? This is how we, you know, learn it. And I'm absolutely sure that you will get it. All of you, absolutely sure, 100%.
Okay, so I don't want to eat up this time, but so the video I can check under forum, you said? The video to replay. I can check where I can.
So the videos will be uploaded about a week after the module is finished. So by the end of next weekend, you can expect to be able to read it. You go to the forum with your login data, you go to your group Pukeko, and under the group is video recordings. And then you click on video recordings, and the recordings that will be up will be highlighted. And then you click on it, and then it opens up. As I said in your email, as I said in the Q&A, you have to be logged in with your Gmail in order to be able to watch the video. Yeah, only your Gmail, no other email. If it comes up when you click on that link, private only, you are not logged in with the Gmail I have, right? So check that. And normally you log in via a Google Chrome browser, which is the easiest way. And if you, for some reason, have 2 Gmails and it comes up private, then you probably have been logged in with the other Gmail. Yeah, so be aware of that. That's just a little bit of tech savviness, not much, but a little bit, a tiny wee bit. Yeah. So that's the way that you can watch the video.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Awesome. Great. Good question.
I have a question.
Yes, David. Please.
So you guys may have read up more than me, but I only got involved with this a couple of days ago. You know the 10 sessions that we have to take?
Yes.
When do you suggest we start looking and taking those? Do we wait for a little while to get? Sorry, immediately?
Immediately.
Okay.
Immediately. These are open workshops. You are like every other participant. You might get to constellate. You definitely get to represent. And you are exposing yourself to the field. And you can also observe, so you learn a lot. And these are the 10 virtual workshops, right? 30 hours of what we do here. I have one workshop every month. The times are not always fantastic for you, so you don't need to show up to everyone. You have 18 months. you have 10 workshops, 18 workshops are provided in this time, so you basically can skip almost every other one if you wanted to, or when the time is really, really bad for you, because I make sure the timing is distributed, you know, over like my daytime. So, you know, there will be a few better and a few lesser good ones. These are 30 hours, 10 times 3. Then you have 20 hours for the certification. So these are paid for. You just put your coupon code, or it's all paid for. Then, if you want to be certified, you have to show that you have attended 20 more hours somewhere else in any kind of workshop. It could be an in-person workshop in the UK. It could be another online workshop. It could be even an 11th of virtual family constellation virtual workshops. Yeah, any other facilitator that is doing the same what I do, facilitating in the method of Bert Hellinger, counts. These are the extracurricular hours, and I think they are important because you need to know how others are facilitating. Yeah. So that you're not only used to my style, that you see the variety of other styles. And it's very, very important if you haven't been, like, I think, Tamara, you are very experienced with workshops, aren't you? If you haven't been to tons of in-person workshops yet, you need to suss out in-person workshops in your area. Yeah, Google them, because you need to see how the representatives move. On virtually, we have to visualize everything. Yeah. But we draw, as a facilitator, our conclusions out of the body movement of the others. So if you have not seen a lot of movements in person, it is really hard for you to visualize that online. To have the 3D vision of a constellation. This is why I urge you to suss out as early as now, in person. And in the UK there are tons, David. There's and Michelle in California there are also tons. I'm not sure about Japan, Juko. Just Google it. I'm sure there are. If not, you invite me and I facilitate a workshop there. So, you know, that's the best way to do it. And if you, Tamara, have done in the last 3 years in-person workshops, you just hand them in with the work. You put them in your worksheet. So you have the worksheet. You know what I'm talking about, where you put your hours in. And I urge you to put, every time you take something, put it right in. It's really, I cannot control it. You have to be honest with yourself and with me. And I cannot check it for you. Yeah, I have no means after events are over to check out if you've been showing up or not. I can only tell you if you have used your coupon code. That's all I can say. I cannot tell you that you actually been there, other than rewatching the videos. But it is important that you not only put in the modules and the workshops you have taken, your extracurriculum workshop, but also the self-study. Because every time you rewatch a video, it's self-study time. Yeah. When you read a book from Bert Hellinger, it's self-study time. When you watch a YouTube video with Bert Hellinger, that's self-study time. So keep track of your self-study time with the worksheet from the get-go. Right? It's much, 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 much easier to do that than trying to in 1.5 years, try to put it all backwards together. Yeah. And then you see where you're at. You see, oh, I have still 6 workshops to attend to, and I missed a lot in the first year. Then you may have to get up to awkward times to catch up. You know, so that's. But that is for the certification, of course. If you don't want to be certified, you have a free what do you say, free pass. you can do anything if you wanted to, no? Right.
Isn't there also practice workshops within the group? Or did
there
I
are
understand
6 practice workshops required. A practice workshop is pretty much every 6 months. I will For the next year, there will be more often, so probably every month. You are required to attend to 6, and you're required to facilitate a minimum of 3 times for the certification. And you can attend a practice workshop right now, the next one, and then you can facilitate after you have finished or the first 3 modules. You can start facilitating.
So the practice workshop is not just our group, it's with
all trainings, all trainees. We are about 40 trainees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That doesn't mean they all
And
come.
this is also
Say?
and we will receive the information also via email.
No, the information is on the community calendar. When you log into your community calendar, it gives you the dates and the times of the practice workshops.
Yes.
They will convert into your own time zone when you click on the plus sign. Then it will import into your personal Google Calendar, and there it will be it will show up in your own time zone.
So that I can attend after 3 modules completed. Okay.
Yeah, but you turn up to all events from immediately. Yeah. Training workshops, training gatherings, open workshops, modules. You are enrolled. You show up to everything.
Okay.
So how do I register to become or apply to become a facilitator to fulfill that 3 workshop requirement? How does that work?
Don't get your rephrase it, Michelle. I don't get your question.
I thought you said for certification we have to facilitate 3 workshops out of those practice workshops. Yeah. And then how do we become a facilitator? Do we apply, or for a given practice workshop, how is the facilitator
all
determined?
practice workshops are announced on the community calendar, and the practice workshop is there for everyone to practice facilitating.
Everyone
to facilitate 3 times out of the 6 workshops, right?
Oh, okay.
I think what Michelle's question is, imagine we all turned up at the same one of those workshops and all 4 of us wanted to facilitate. Would we be able to facilitate?
Of course. Over the course of 1.5 years, you will certainly all have the chance to facilitate.
No, imagine, so we all turn up to the same workshop. Who decides which one of us would facilitate in that workshop?
Well, we will see when it gets to there.
So after we finish 3 modules, then we will get in this space. I mean, then this the question, First, we just have to be there and practice. And then after 3rd module, we will already see from other how it works, right?
Yeah, of course. We
will learn that by doing.
Yeah,
of
first
course.
Finish the first 3 and see.
Yeah, certainly. It's not imminent, but
yeah, you don't need to facilitate the first time you show up. You don't need to. You cannot. There's no pressure. You have 1.5 years. It just started. There is no pressure. Yeah, you can start facilitating in 9 months if you want to. That's up to you. No, or in 3. That's totally up to you. But you have to show up. Otherwise, you miss out maybe on the 6 required workshop participation. Yeah.
We'll figure that out later.
Yeah. Very good. Is there anything else about the training that is unclear?
I guess the only other question for me is, in all the other modules, I mean, there are the 4 of us now. Is it likely that other people turn up to those modules? It just depends who shows.
So the group is complete, but people can book modules who are not on the complete training. Yeah. So it's possible that somebody books Not very likely. Most people book module 1 and not any other. But yeah, it's possible. In theory, it's possible. Yeah. But they won't be part of the group.
Theory.
Hmm? What were you saying, Tamara?
Nothing. It was funny. In theory, everything is, but yes, there is no limit, so everything is possible.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's beautiful. I love to be student after so many years.
Right.
so enjoy myself.
Very good. Very good. And as a student, you need to be patient, right? You're learning one step after the other. Otherwise, you would stumble and fall. I don't want you that. We are not jumping back and forth, and we take one step after the other. Hmm? Right. Okay. Let's go into today's teaching content, the third order of love. Right. So, remember, I said that at the beginning of today's meeting, the first day we looked at the first order of love, the order of belonging. The second day, yesterday, we looked at the second order of love, the order of precedence, or who comes first. And today we look at the third and last order of love, the order of giving and receiving, because today we are talking about balance. You have heard me saying the word imbalance a lot, yeah? We say imbalance as a broad term for anything that is not in the orders of love, yeah? And in this module, we will look how to balance particular through giving and receiving, because that's the way to achieve balance. So the order of balance, giving and receiving, is of course requires a relationship. You cannot give and receive to yourself. You need somebody else. Reciproc, mirror you, be there to receive something from you and something to give that you can receive. So the first information about the third order of love is that I would like to remember, when we are looking at imbalance or how to balance by giving and receiving, we need to know what relationship we are looking at, because it follows different rules. Yeah. So we have the mother-child relationship and or the father-child relationship. So it's like, say, the parent to the children relationship. Then we have the other way around, the child to the parent relationship. And then we have a relationship to ancestors, if you will. And then we have partner relationships or romantic relationships. I stopped to use the word romantic relationships because they are most often not romantic. So I call them partner romantic, partner relationships, rather neutral. So we have, if the relationship to ancestors is very simple, so we don't need to make it an extra point. We have basically 3 different relationships. We have the relationship from a parent to the child, meaning the client or the person we are working with in a constellation is a parent, yeah? And we're looking at their relationship to their child. Or the other way around, we have a child who is now adult, obviously, our client, for example, or you, looking at your relationship towards a parent. That's 2 different relationships, all right? And then we have the relationship, we call that equal. That's a partner relationship. So let's look at mother-child relationship first. Mother's love flows towards children. And I can't repeat it often enough. The river, the stream only flows in one direction. Always think of the stream, yeah? And love flows only in one direction, from the former to the later. That's a rule of nature. Like the water goes only in one direction. Children are therefore not supposed to give anything back to their children that is the same quality of love, because the water does not flow back, yeah? Children are supposed to give forward like the stream would. Let the love flow forward towards their children or towards a good cause, like a charity, or they have a nurturing job where they look after their customers or other employees, or you name it, something that can receive this nourishing love. If one has children, that's the way to go. Yeah, the love received is not bouncing back. That would be like ping pong, like table tennis. It would go back and forth. That is no flow, right? It has to flow forward.
Can I ask a question in this context? So love flows one direction, but what happens? What about the love that the children naturally have for?
Well,
their
you have to
parents?
wait
What
till
is
I'm finished with
Okay.
my content, and then you will see.
All right, sorry.
So children, in return, give their thankfulness to their mother. They are grateful. Yeah. The love of the child to the mother is not nourishing and caring for the mother, is to be grateful for mother giving love and life to them. Yeah. That's how you balance, from a child perspective, an intact mother and child relationship. So that's a rule. And the love that is nourishing and caring, this instinctive mother love, you pass on to your children. And through this passing on through your children, your mother will be honored and respected. Yeah. I give you an example. I hear that from, my son is 20 now, and I hear that from some of his mates once in a while. They say, we are not putting children into this world because, they've been so negative about everything. And then I always think, yeah, well, then you don't honor your parents, right? So they will suffer. It's fine if you, without any intention, don't have children, because it just doesn't happen. That's completely different. But as a young person who's still in need of, love from the parents, basically, or nourishment and care, make the decision to not have children is a disregarding the parents. Yeah, saying, oh, well, subconsciously, of course, yeah, well, I don't think they did a good job to me, so I'm not want to do it something similar to my children, right? So that's just an observation. When you learn the orders of love, you have ears like this when you hear these discussions between people. I'm never commenting on it, by the way, because everybody is, can have their own opinions, of course. But when I ask, then I would explain why this is creating an unbalance to their parents' relationship. So let's go ahead. Children's role is to receive mother's love without judgment. That's a form of love. Yeah. To keep the heart open, and whatever the mother is delivering, yeah, is kind of, the love can flow in, and everything that is not love is just not flowing in. It stays with her. Yeah. That's it. That's all. That's all a child needs to do. A child also as an adult, and especially in a family constellation, represented, of course, by another adult. That's the role of the children. That is where problems start, right? Because I'm very aware that some cultures, more or less in different cultures, but some cultures are very strongly conditioned. Remember the conscience, collective conscience, conditioned that the children look after their parents when they are elderly. Yeah, and that's totally fine. But only, as Bert Hellinger said, if the child is a grown up, if the child who is now adult needs still the parents, yeah, is still a needy child, so to speak. That's then trying to do the same for their parents. That's what an imbalance is created, which is fine for this generation, but probably not fine for the children and the grandchildren, yeah, because they will probably develop a disease or an allergy or something like that, yeah, something that you find unrelated, because this is a breach of the third order of love. But don't ask me now any practical question, because at the moment we are going through the theory of the orders of the third order of love. The common problem is that the child cannot receive the love. It's not common that the mother can't let the love flow. It's much more common that the child cannot receive it. And that is why the child has an early childhood trauma, which we call the interrupted movement towards the mother. That is, they are closing their heart, literally, so the love cannot flow to the child. Yeah. That's the most common unbalance in a mother-child relationship that you will see in family constellation. The next one is the mother is not able to let the love flow, to give it to their children. And that has most often the same reason. She has an interrupted movement towards her mother. Yeah, that's the next comment. And I tell you exactly how you see that in a family constellation. I call that the arrogant child. In a family constellation, when the child is, of course, represented by somebody, yeah, thinks the mother needs to come to them, instead of going towards the mother, that is, or thinks it's taller and the mother is smaller, or is angry at the mother, or resisting the mother, but looking towards her, not away. That is a clear sign of an interrupted movement, a clear sign that this child has not received the instinctive love of the mother, the nourishing love of the mother. So we would perform an interrupted movement towards the mother, which you will learn in module 4. The mother cannot give love has also very clear signs. They might look at the child, they might not look at the child, but they might look at the child, but they don't feel connection. That's normally what the representative says. They normally say, I'm not feeling really connected. Yeah. A mother who can give or let the love flow immediately smiles at the child, opens her heart, wants to run towards the child and hug it. These are the signs of a mother that is capable of letting the love flow. There's nothing to fix there. But the child cannot receive it, right? So these are the two most common unbalanced or imbalances in mother-child relationship. The third one is the child, that's what I call the arrogant child. The child feels superior to the mother. Another third common imbalance that you see in a family constellation. Now, this can have two reasons, and we will, circle back to it multiple times. This has mainly two reasons. Either it is an interrupted movement towards the mother, or the child is entangled, most likely with the former partner. Most likely with the former partner of either the father or the mother. A partner that doesn't want, that feels anger or superiority towards the mother. So then there would be maybe an imbalance between the partners. That's how we fix, if I come back to the plumber's picture, how we fix the pipes, yeah? So we know how things look like. That's our tool. And then we go and take the right tool and fix it right there where the leak is. And if it's an interrupted movement, then it's between the mother and the child. And if it's another reason, maybe identification or entanglement with a former partner of either father or mother, then you would go there. So the child doesn't need any attention. It is about the partners. And we will see all the signs. You can only see them in the practice, only see them in workshops and practice workshops. So that will all come up, and you will see it. It's very obvious. After a while, not immediately, but after a while, it becomes very obvious. So don't feel pressure if you don't see it in the next workshop, right? Just, give yourself some slack there. Okay. Then the next common unbalance in mother-child relationship is that the mother feels weak towards the child. So the representative of the mother would feel small. They would feel, they probably want to sit down or something like that. They would feel weak. They probably would say the legs feel weak, or like rubber or something like that. Yeah. That is, of course, the mother is not in her power, meaning she has a lack of love from her parents, not necessarily from her mother, can also be the father. So in this case, there's, you don't need to look at the child, you need at the mother and her parents. And you would, in this case, choose both mother and father and see where this comes from. Maybe even the grandparents. When we talk about father-child relationship, it's very similar to mother-child. This is why you can also summarize that as parent-child relationship, because it's exactly the same. Flow of love is the same. The stream situation flows from father to child. Again, children are not supposed to give the same quality of love back. Children are not there to give their father stability and security, yeah, because that is father's love. And children are not there to nourish and care for their mother, because that is a grown-up, right? It's the mother, not the child. So they are not giving the same quality of love back. Yeah? The river flows only in one direction. And they do the same as with the mother. They give the love that they receive from the father in the quality of security and stability to their children, once and foremost, or to a good cause, of course. Same situation as with the mother, more or less. Also, the children give they show gratitude towards the father for giving life, and for letting this love flow in form of stability and security rather than nourishment and care. Also, part of this receiving end of love is to not judge about the love. That's the most common thing, is to judge, to complain about the parents, and we are all guilty of that, I'm absolutely sure, in one way or the other, until we are fully embracing the orders of love and go in our own healing way and understand how we did the same like everybody else, thinking that a good mother is ABC, and a good father is ABC. And when they're not doing ABC, when they do CDF, then we judge them and say they are not a good father, they are not a good mother. And we're not even thinking about our own parents. We can think about parents of somebody else, somebody else's parents, right? Think, oh no, that's not a good mother, and that's not a good father. And that is a common problem when you put yourself in the shoes of the child, that they cannot receive the love because the judgment it makes it impossible. You can only receive the love when your heart is open, and every kind of judgment is closing the heart. Yeah. And that's, I think, the greatest challenge that we all have to go through, to let go of expectations towards our parents and what they have done, and thinking they should have been different. No, they could not be and have not a bit different, because we wouldn't be the person we are without them being exactly who they are, right? And that is all for a good reason, that we might fathom or not. But it doesn't matter, because if we can let that go and open our heart only to this life-giving love and force that comes from the parents, and that's not what the parents create. It has nothing to do with their personality. Nothing. Yeah. That is the instinctive love that they don't create with their doings. That's the love they have from their parents. And they have it from their parents, and so on, all the way back to the source. Yeah. And this love is only nourishing, caring, or giving stability and security. Everything else is not love. That's emotional stuff. That's attachment. That's abusing. That's whatever it is. But it's not love. Yeah. So if we separate love and what they've done, then we can open our heart to the love and leave everything else with them. Yeah, every hurt, every whatever judgment we have, every expectation we have, we just leave it there where it originated, with the person. We don't make it our own. Yeah. So when I say the child needs to be open to the love, I'm not saying the child needs to be open to kind of abuse or whatnot. Of course not. Yeah. All these actions are created by the creator, not by the child. So they stay where they are created. They are not flowing. The only thing that is flowing is the life force in form of unconditional love. And that is what the children's role is to receive. So to summarize, judgment is in the way to receive the love of the parents, and judgment is only closing the heart, which makes it impossible to receive the love, but the love is necessary for our own lives to flourish. Without this love, we cannot flourish, and we cannot pass it on to our children, or a good cause, or our work. Yeah. So when we go on the path of healing, and we want to enable that for our clients as well, and we want to also heal a pattern in our own family, we need to understand that the actions of our parents are theirs, not ours. Yeah. And we are not taking that in. We can also, in the family constellation, when you have a case where a child has been abused, and there is obviously an interrupted movement, then you would phrase it in that way. There are phrases that you use. There are phrases that you use. Open your heart to receive the love of your father, and say to him, everything else that is not love, unconditional love, I leave with you. Yeah, that's a phrase that you use for or that your client is using in the constellation to make that clear. But you normally only need that in severe cases. Yeah. The little judgments and the little expectations where, I don't know, the father wasn't there every night, or the mother was a little bit angry once in a while, or didn't give you a sweet for dessert, you don't need these sentences. on a soul level. That's really for severe cases of violence, either emotionally, mentally, or physical violence within the family. Then you need these phrases. So most often, the most common judgment that is creating the imbalance in the father-child relationship is the expectation that the father should have been there more. Of course, it can be with the mother too, but it just happens a lot more with the father. Either he's working too much, or he left the family when the child was young, or he never joined the family maybe, or things like that. Yeah, so that's the most common. Here's the solution to understand that father's love is flowing wherever he is. He doesn't need to be present for that. Yeah, this instinctive love we are talking about, this unconditional love, flows. The rest is expectation. Yeah, a father should be there, and if it's not there, the father doesn't love me. That's the kind of expectations that is in the way to receive the instinctive love. The other, of course, on the other hand, the father cannot give, yeah, or be caring towards a child, is another imbalance created. Here, you have to look at the mother of the father, yeah, because the father most likely has an undetected interrupted movement towards his mother. So in these cases, you would place in a family constellation the mother of the father there, and start healing there by the mother, not between the father and the child. That would be this. That would not lead to anything, because the father wouldn't be able. So in a constellation, it looks like that the father, like the mother, wouldn't feel connected to the child, or would feel under pressure, something like that. That would be the signs of a father that cannot give, that the heart is closed. That always has a reason that has nothing to do with the child, by the way. It never has to do with the child. Yeah. Because think of the flow of love, from the love going only in one direction. So when the father cannot give love, then the father, you have to look in the former generation. It has nothing to do with the child. Remember that. Always think of the spring, the stream, and the ocean, and how the water flows when you think of parent-children relationship. The father himself, I just mentioned, that has an interrupted movement towards the mother. He can also have an interrupted movement towards the father, of course. If there is a sign for that, you would place his mother and his father there. And you can, especially in the beginning, definitely do both to see for yourself where the imbalance is. Yeah, in the mother relationship or in the father relationship of the father. That's important. So don't expect that you will see that right away where it is. You are allowed to try things out, yeah, obviously. I still do that. We all do that. It's not always obvious what relationship is the cause of an imbalance. So sometimes you need to try it out. All right. So let's talk about teacher-student relationships, because they have some similarities to father-child relationships. The teacher stands for the father and the student for the child. So it's the same. The student is not supposed to give to the teacher back what the teacher gives to the student, right? It's not that the student starts to educate the teacher, right? What is important for the teacher is that the student is, grateful and honors and respect the teacher, and then pass on the knowledge, use it to do a good job. Yeah? Pass it on to their clients, pass it on to their students, pass it on to their customers, whatever they have been taught. That is what is honoring the teacher. So it's similar to the father relationship. Yeah, very similar. On the other hand, if a student turns against the teacher, yeah, well, guess what they have? What do you think? What is the source of this behavior?
Mother.
An interrupted movement towards the father. Because the teacher stands for the father. They are rejecting the love of their father. And now they have a go at the teacher. Yeah. And I will tell you in a moment how that looks like with the mother.
What do you mean by teacher, by the way?
Any kind of teacher. Wherever you are a student, like I'm a teacher in this group. When you're in school, you have a teacher. When you are, you know, whenever you learn from, whenever there's a situation, or at uni you have a professor, or whenever you're in the situation that somebody has more knowledge and you are there to receive it, to receive knowledge.
And it doesn't matter the gender, like a female teacher, the male.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. It's always a father.
Is it about authority in general or only teacher student?
That's a good question, Tamara. I think about other maybe it's in all authorities. I'm not sure about that. We need to see it. Maybe it comes up in a workshop that somebody has a problem with an authority that is not a teacher. What would that be, Tamara? An authority you think of?
A boss. Boss.
You mean the boss in a job?
Or I don't know. Yeah. So for example, director of the movie, he's authority on everyone there, right?
I don't think that. No, I don't think they would represent father. No.
Okay.
No.
It can be both.
It could be both. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Or
you.
it could be an
This
entanglement.
teacher, yeah. I think
Like,
this teaching part is specific for the father part, maybe.
Yeah. When you learn, if you don't learn from your boss, then it could be anything. If you are rejecting the boss, you need a family constellation and see what kind of entanglement that is sourced, caused by, right? But if it's a teacher-student relationship, then you know it's the father. You can shortcut that. I can almost guarantee you that. Yeah. So, same as with father's love, this what the student receives from the teacher at one stage is kind of, you know, you put everything into practice, you gain your own experience, and it's like a glass of water or a jar of water that fills up and fills up and fills up, and at some point it flows over, right? And this kind of overflowing picture is when then the student becomes a teacher. So they have to pass on the teaching, you know? So that's also natural flow, if you will, yeah? That is not for everything you learn, although, you know how we are eager sometimes when we learn to pass it on to a friend or so, talk about it, no? And teach or pass on this knowledge to somebody else. Do you want to share it? That's kind of this flow, that we are in this flow. We want to pass it on, yeah? And that's an instinct. That's like we want to let it flow. We don't want to hold on to it, yeah? And then I wonder why I don't have the mother there on my chart. So let's talk about the mother's love and what the mother is representing. So the teacher is representing father, yeah? And then the mother is represented through a group. So when somebody is turning against a group, that's mother. I give you an example. I was in a training workshop with Sophie Hellinger, and we had 20-odd people, and we had a young guy, who, for some reason, stood up and had a big burst out and yelled at everybody in the group. Oh, you are all, I don't remember what it was. Oh, you are all, and you know, you're really aggressive towards the group. And then Sophie Hellinger, of course, sent him out of the room and said, you have to leave. And then she turned around and asked us, what does he need? And of course, we didn't know the answer. But then she said, mother. He needs a nourishing and caring love of the mother. He has a massive interrupted movement towards his mother. And the group is symbolizing this nourishing and caring love. Yeah. And that stuck with me. And that is very, very true. I do observe that a lot if this is happening, that it is an interrupted movement towards the mother. So bear that in mind. These are two specific cases. Turning against the group means interrupted movement towards the mother. Turning against the teacher means interrupted movement towards the father. However, on the flip side, if you can learn from a teacher, and if you can soak everything up, and it immediately resonates, and you can store it, and you are grateful and full of gratitude, you know you have received the love of your father. Yeah. So that's a sign. Or if you love the group and you want to be happy and you don't want to confront the group, you worship everybody in the group and different opinions, and you know, if you feel this kind of connection with the group, then you know you don't have an interrupted movement towards the mother. You have received all the love towards your mother. So always look at the flip side. No, we intend to look at the problems because we are problem solver, if you will, but everything shows you also the positive side that you can contemplate on how far you've come in your life when you learn these orders. So let's look at the ancestral relationship. It's not very different. So you can kind of also compare to parents' relationship. They give, descendants receive. That's how it is balanced. But however, they normally don't give nourishing and care, or they don't give stability and security. They are not so specific. They are too far back. They are too far back in line to be so specific with their quality of love. It's their blessings. And an ancestor normally has no gender neither. So it's not a female ancestor and a male ancestor in most constellations. So in general, they give blessings, and the receiving on the receiving end is to open the heart and to receive the blessings or ask for the blessings. Yeah, and then give it forward. Give what is received through the children, right? Through the line of children. So the descendants receive the blessings by making their life extraordinary. We intend to use these words in a family constellation context to make a point. Yeah. So we are very we are not exaggerating. We are using strong words. Yeah. We don't say good life because, you know, to have a good life is kind of like a saying, like, you know, oh yeah, you have a good life. In the family constellation, and you will learn about the power of words in next module. Is it next module or the module? Module 2, I think, or module 3, at least in module 3. The power of words, they are very powerful in a family constellation context, and we want to use specific words. So we would say a descendant who receives the blessings from the ancestor is promising them as a way to give back, to honor their love and what they have received, that they live an extraordinary life in order to honor their ancestors. They can only honor their ancestors with a great, doing something good, something great out of what they have received. And what have they received? They have received the gift of life, right? Without any of the ancestors, any of the 240 ancestors, you wouldn't exist. Your client wouldn't exist. The descendant wouldn't exist. We need to be clear about that over and over again. No. So this is how we honor and respect our ancestors, and that's all a descendant ever gives, if you will, or this is the way how they receive and give towards the next who comes in line. So common problems in ancestral relationships are that the ancestors or one ancestor is excluded from the family system for several reasons. It could be that he was perceived as a black sheep, or he walked away and never to be seen again, and the future generations forgot about them, right? So this is one of the most common, and that's also something that the client would never mention because they simply don't know. That's something that would show up in a constellation. Yeah, they would show that they have been excluded and they needed to be included. Or that the ancestors or one ancestor, normally not the whole, not all, but one of them, are not honored. And then that is, of course, what we do in a family constellation. We find this ancestor that needs being honored, and then we find the descendant that needs to honor them. And then we have the powerful words we use for that. And then the souls are moving towards unity, and a balance of giving and receiving is restored. So we will talk about entanglements pretty much in every module. So here I just give you an example for an entanglement with an ancestor. Yeah. So let me rephrase that. So for an entanglement, you always need 3 persons. You have, let's say, the client for the ease of discussion, yeah, and then you have 2 other persons. And it is most often, but not always, a victim-perpetrator relationship between the other 2. And the client takes over the role or the energy or the emotion of one of them, either the victim or the perpetrator in this example. And these are most often skipping at least 1 generation, so grandparents, but that can also be an entanglement with an ancestor, 5th, 6th, or 7th generation. That's absolutely possible. That is creating the imbalance, because the descendant is taking on a role that is not theirs. You know, they're stepping in shoes, they don't fit them. However, the family soul wants the descendant to put on these shoes to make this imbalance visible. So the family system will never forget an unbalanced relationship because it wants to restore balance and order. Yeah? That is like homeostasis in nature. That's the whole purpose of the family soul, because otherwise it cannot evolve. It wants to take all the rocks out of the river and put aside, if you will. Remember this picture of the stream. Yeah, all the rocks are these imbalances that are stored in the morphogenetic field of the family system as an information. So this is why a descendant, by destiny, takes on these entanglements with one of an ancestor, and makes it visible through suffering. Any kind of suffering enough that they want help and hopefully come to a family constellation so they can actually go to the root cause, of it. In this case, it is the role of the descendants to see the imbalance, not to fix it. The misperception is in the descendant, the client, that they need to fix it. But in fact, the imbalance is between the other two, which we call victim and perpetrator. There's the imbalance, has nothing to do with the client, with the third person. The entangled person, there is nothing to fix. Just remember that. It's always the imbalance is somewhere else. So we need to find where this somewhere else is. Now, if it's in the line of the ancestors, we would have two representatives for the ancestors. Yeah? And then we would find the imbalance there. What was imbalanced? What hasn't been received or what hasn't been given? And we would open up this kind of valve, coming back to the plumbing, yeah. So the water can flow between them, yeah. The love can flow between them. They can unite. Then the entangled person, the client in this case, the descendant, is free as a result of that, yeah. Because the family soul is happy, and that's in a nutshell an entanglement. And so we will, but most often you see the entanglement 2 generations before, not in the ancestors. But when an entanglement repeats itself, you have already 4 generations, right? So let's say you have an entanglement of this client with the grandfather. The grandfather is repeating an entanglement of the ancestor of the 5th generation. So then you have an entanglement in your ancestors. I'm actually thinking at the moment of skipping a flat stone on the water. You know how that looks, this ripple, how they jump? That's the picture I have when you have a pattern of entanglements. Yeah, skipping 1 generation jumps to the next. So again, in this case, we are not stopping at the grandfathers, we're going to the ancestors and see where the entanglement is really pointing at. Because apparently in this example, in this family system, nobody of the descendants that came after the ancestors dared to look at it. So they were waiting, the whole family system was waiting for this one descendant, which is you or your client, to do that for them. So in this case, remember the descendant in relationship to the ancestor is receiving blessings. Yeah. So the healing movement here for the descendant is once the imbalance has been the balance has been restored in the line of the ancestors. Now the client, the descendants, or you would ask for blessings from them. And they would happily give it, and you would be free. Because then everything is balanced. The relationship of the ancestors has come to a balance, and the relationship of the descendant to the ancestors as well. Because giving and receiving has been balanced. That is the 3rd order of love. We have an exercise now. We're doing pretty much the same as yesterday, only that you don't have a photo. I don't assume you have a photo from your 5th, 6th, or 7th generation. If you have, fantastic. Yeah, but you don't need to. I don't think you do. Let me just we do it the other. We do this group of 2 again. Yeah. And we can use 5 minutes, but we probably, how was the 2 minute yesterday? Was it enough, or did you feel rushed? Was 2 minutes enough? Yeah. Okay. So we do 5 again, 2 minutes each, and then we come back, we share, and then we have a break. So let me stop sharing my slides. So we go in groups of 2. One is yourself, and the other one is an ancestor. And you just visualize maybe your culture, wherever you come from, a group, like an ancient tribe of your culture where you come from, right? Or or a wise woman or wise old man. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, you just visualize in your representative one of your ancestors, or your partner with whom you do the exercise can also represent all of your ancestors. That's totally up to you. Yeah. And then you look into their eyes. You don't talk. You look into their eyes for just 2 minutes. And then at any stage within this 2 minutes, you find the right moment to ask for blessings. Yeah. So you can say out loud or silently to your partner, please give me your blessing. And then you will see if how it feels to receive the blessings, and how you receive the blessings is you put your hands on your heart and you take a bow. Yeah. And then it's pretty much over, and you will hear my voice again, and then it's time to swap. So you can wait to receive the blessings until you hear my voice, if you wanted to. That would be 2 minutes. All clear? Good. So remind me who was not in one group yet.
David and me.
Okay, cool. So I will put you in one group.
The maternal, the female side of the lineage, like yeah, just strictly focus on the maternal lineage. And I feel, yeah, I really feel this kind of, then it's really on my chest, this pressure. It's almost, it's not, instead of the fullness, it's kind of pressure, it's getting heavy. But then I feel it's kind of a power, you know, something very powerful. I feel that they're giving me all of the power.
Yeah, of course.
All of my ancestors. It's almost like you know, the fact that I'm here, I exist, that's a lot of power passed down from them.
It is from 240 people.
I know. And so that, yeah. So then when I say, please give me your blessing, and it really feels very empowering that way.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Great.
Thank you.
Right, David and Tamara.
I can go. Tamara, you okay with that?
So, yeah. You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. So, so when I was thinking about my ancestors, I don't know why my grandfather came to mind, and I haven't thought about him for forever. And I just saw him in front of me. It was really strange. And I mean, I must have been 3 years old when I saw him, and he died. And it was just a very strong feeling of something in my chest that then kind of dropped down, and he almost seemed like he was really, I could see him just saying, I'll do anything. What do you want? What do you want? He was almost clamoring to help me in my mind. And it's something just dropped into my stomach where I know something feels right. And I asked for his blessing. And when I asked for his blessing, it was almost as if then my grandmother wanted to be there too. And I could see her. And I haven't thought about her since I was about, I mean, she died when I was about 5. And I felt that there were a lot of people wanting to give me their blessings. It was very odd and quite visceral, actually.
That's interesting, David. That's interesting. The way you describe it, it's almost as if your grandfather and your grandmother wanted to stand in your way to the ancestors.
It's like they both really wanted to be there.
Yeah. I think there's some unfinished business.
And then when I was the ancestors for Tamara, I just sat to be very present, and I'm sitting with my arms kind of just sort of out in front of the computer, and I almost felt like something was flowing,
Oh,
through my
cool.
arms. It was
Yeah.
very odd. It was almost like there was something flowing into the screen. It was just strange. I can't really say any more. I was just observing energy flowing out of me.
Well, sounds pretty cool to me.
Felt pretty cool.
Wow.
Thank you.
I feel better now. Yeah. So when I was an ancestry, I felt very, very distant, and I felt David very far away. And I saw myself after some time in the on the beginning of the big ancestry phases, you know, like this. But I was in the field, like a field, like a village field, you know, watching very far away to David, and then he was coming closer and closer and closer. And when you came close to me, I was like, wow, is it possible that everyone survived even? That was my, like, we did it. We like successfully, like we have our childs and children going forward. It was like a big, not surprised. It was in heart, like wish of this energy, but it was not like trusting that it's possible. Like so much insecurity, you know, like, oh, we really did it, we made it, like they exist, they still exist. It was like a big surprise for them that you exist, David. In the same time, I felt then a little, because of this distant, I didn't really feel anything. It was very strange.
Which goes very much in line what David just said, that his grandfather and grandparents appeared didn't allow him to see and connect with the ancestors.
Yes, I couldn't connect fully with you, David.
Interesting, right?
It was distant, and I wrote down uncertainty, distant.
Yeah. So David,
like the family did not believe it will continue. Yeah. So there is some shame, I think, involved.
So what is happening here, David? There is something, and that will come up in a family constellation for sure. Your grandparents are
By the way,
between you.
just so you know, it was the grandparents of different, my dad's mother and my mother's father.
Even more interesting. So they are here, you are here, they are here, and your ancestors are here. Right? So you are far away from your ancestors, and they are kind of in the way. They are blocking it up. So they are blocking the power that you could have from your ancestors, for unknown reason that we will have to address one day.
I couldn't give anything.
No.
And we even didn't do it loud. You did it inside the sentence. It was very strange. Okay.
But this exercise already was the first step, towards your ancestors. A step you have not taken before, David.
Yes.
So that's exciting. So who knows what happens next?
But
Great.
they also miss you, you know.
Yeah, of course they would.
They're like floating on this field, and okay. So when I was a kid, it was so hard for me. I felt very judged. I felt like,
okay,
we expect from you, did you do everything like we agreed? Like, you have to do everything for the family. I was very strong.
Okay.
I didn't feel good. I felt like I'm all the time observed from them. You know, too strong. It was too strong. Now I understand so many things in my life. more, even more.
Mm.
It
And
helped me very much.
very good. And did you say, please give me a blessing?
Yes, but not loud because I could not. It was too strong. And then I realized, aha, David and me are in this silent, still, but it came naturally not to say it loud. Yeah.
And did you
Yesterday
take a
I was
bow?
saying normally loud. Today
Did you
not.
take a
Yeah.
bow?
Yes.
And how did that feel? How was it afterwards?
Oh, good. Good, good, good.
Yeah.
Good. No, this is, now I feel good. Now I feel better in the way of clarity and, oh, I forgive. I let go, actually. I felt that I can let go.
Yeah.
My side.
Very good.
But I still need to come back for their side. I understand that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Remember that very important to understand. You can only let go of what you fully have received before.
yes,
And
this I understand.
the
And this is my
receiving
struggle.
if
Yes.
the receiving hasn't happened yet fully,
Yeah.
you cannot let it go neither. Yeah. So you're
All my
depending.
life I'm trying to let go and I cannot.
No.
I mean, I have clarity. I worked on my inner child like 6 years. It's fine. I do energy work, energy healing, dance. I do everything. I'm free and I'm not free,
But now
And
you
I
will.
am free. I live free life totally in my spirit and in my head. But
Yeah.
yes,
Well,
and the body is free, but the heart,
you're
the
on your
soul is
path
not.
to freedom now, Tamara. So don't worry about that.
I know.
That is innovative.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
Remember, before we go on the break, I want you to picture a hot potato. Have we all cooked potatoes? A whole potato? Have you ever touched it? Right? How hot a freshly cooked potato is. What do? You just let it fall. Just you can't hold it. You cannot hold on to it. It has to let it go. This is a letting go. I want you to remember, if you wouldn't have the potato in your hand and feel the heat of it, you will not let go. Yeah. It's a mind concept to think of a potato and letting it go, which doesn't heal anything, but you need to physically grab it, feel it, and then it's a reflex to letting go. So the letting go process is not a thing. The letting go process, that my whole point is with this story, that you don't need to focus on the letting go process, because this is a natural reaction to fully receiving or embracing what you haven't dared yet, right? That's it. So you don't need to worry about that. Cool. We have our break, 10 minutes, so I meet you 10 to the hour. Remember to bring a photo of your partner for after the break, okay? Cool.
Thank
See
you.
you. So, right. Remember, we have the stream. I cannot mention it often enough, for the relationship between generations, yeah? Now, we are talking about a situation where everyone is equal. That is in partnership. So there is no order of precedence that the one who is born, like your husband is 10 years older, they don't come first, right? You are equal, right? And when you picture, I don't know whether I said that before, the stream going down in generational relationship, now you picture the lake situation, which is perfectly flat. Water is always 100% flat, yeah? And when you picture a lake completely calm, the surface of a lake, that's where both partners are. It's completely even, completely even. There is not the slightest difference between them. The exchange of is vice versa. Yeah, it's like the ping pong situation here. Giving and taking has to be balanced, and each partner needs to equally give and receive for a fulfilled relationship. Money is also a form of energy that can be given and taken. I just always put that up front because, you know, we have these romantic ideas about love, but energy is everything. Everything is energy, so it can also contribute. Yeah. What is everything else that can be given and receiving in relationship? What do you think? Just give me some ideas. What do you give to your partner? What do you receive from your partner? Just shoot.
Confidence.
Support,
Good.
freedom, allowance to be who you are.
Freedom is the biggest gift of all. What else? Affection.
Everything.
Affection.
Stability.
Care.
Protection.
Stability. Yeah. Care. Time. You receive time. Attention. Right? Everything.
But
Everything
also
can be.
sense of belonging, yeah.
Yeah, sense of belonging. Everything can be given and received in relationship. Again, this is the same as with all relationships. Judgment is closing the heart and doesn't allow. It has only to do with the one who's judging, and it only affects the one who's judging because they cannot receive whatever is offered. So if you think like attention is not good enough, I want money as well, just to say something, yeah. Then you cannot receive attention. You are dismissing attention, yeah. If you say that's not enough, that's judgment, or that doesn't come in the right way, yeah. I want the attention in the night and not in the morning, or whatever it is. You are closing your heart and you're dismissing attention altogether, so you don't receive it. And we come to that because the inability to receive is most often the reason why a relationship breaks up. Common problems in relationship is one is giving too much and the other one is not receiving. Yeah. And that is creating the imbalance. And that is a breach of the third order of love. That needs to be addressed in order to let the love flow. One thing is that is commonly mistaken is you can only give what the other can actually receive, so it needs to be adequate and realistic. So an example for unrealistic giving is please love, or I love you forever. Like how can, that's impossible. What is forever? Yeah. So to balance out somebody who says, I give you my love forever, how do you balance that out? Yeah, you can't. And that is already creating an imbalance. So that's just an example. There are many others, yeah? Who is going, what do you think? Who is going to leave an unbalanced relationship? The one who is not giving or the one who is not receiving?
The one who's not receiving.
Correct. They are the ones who leave the relationship. Yeah. Balancing in the good and balancing in the bad. What lets love grow? That's a lovely kind of step-by-step instructions of Bert Hellinger, how to let the love grow in romantic relationships. And we will go through that. And then we will also talk about forgiving, because that is something highly misconceived. And in the context of family constellation, we have a very specific way to address that, yeah? I have to go back. So I have no charts for that. So I have to talk about it. Hang on. So, so what lets love grow is when you I know, I think I have it. Sorry, I'm confused. I think a chart is coming up. So let's wait for that one. Let's wait for that one. I'm pretty sure there's charts coming up. Otherwise, I will address it again. So then there's another concept that Bert Hellinger is introducing to in his books, yeah? The point of children. If in a romantic relationship there are children, that is a common effect that the intimacy decreases, especially with the firstborn child, yeah? But the relationship can expand into something greater than just intimacy, yeah? Because the mother most often is focused on giving to the child, right? Not so much focused on giving to the partner. That's a natural occurrence. I think, Michelle, you mentioned that when you had the children with your parents, how demanding it is to keep on with the relationship. This is because intimacy makes way, you know, if you will, for the children, and then the giving and receiving of affection and time is minimized to what is left, if you will. Yeah? And most often the mothers are the most busy with the children, so the father feels an unbalance more than the mother. Right? However, of course, this is something to work through and find another way of giving and receiving. And this giving of receiving is an appreciation for the room the other partner gives, yeah, for whatever is needed in this moment, especially in regards of the children. That would be then the giving part and the receiving part on the other end. Then we also just quickly address transgender and same-sex relationship. Bert Hellinger said not much about it, and at his time there was no transgender relationship anyhow. So not that somebody talked about. I don't know how to handle that. I have not seen it in a family constellation myself. I would go with the orders of love. Obviously, you are born with the gender, and obviously that's what life wants you to be, right? Like from a perspective of the family soul, or otherwise you wouldn't have that gender. So we are not talking about what they do with their lives. We are just talking about their role in the family system. And so when we ask our client if they have children, is this a girl or boy, we go with what they are born with, not what they have transgendered into. Yeah. If that is what they want to work on, then that's different. But if we need a representative, we go with what they are born into in this gender. So the basic of the orders of love, giving and receiving, is a relationship is only alive through giving and receiving, obviously, right? Without giving and receiving, there is no relationship. And that goes for mother, father, and child relationship as well. You always need a giver and a receiver. Otherwise, it is not possible to exchange. Exchange is the very basis of a system, right? Every member, a system has boundaries, and there are members in between, and the members, they need to exchange all the time, giving and receiving. If you just think of your own body, that's the membrane is the skin, and within you have these trillions of cells and more trillions of bacteria, and they are all interacting with each other. They are giving and receiving the whole time. And that is what a system wants. So your family system wants the same. Your family system wants that everybody is receiving and giving in the right order. This is why it's an order. It's the order of love, the third order. Because first of all, you need to establish who belongs to the system. That's the first order. Secondly, you need to establish who belong in which order of precedence they belong, to find out what relationship they have, and then you can determine what kind of giving and receiving is appropriate to restore order. So that's the system. This nutrition, or whatever it is, or affection, or whatever is exchanged, needs to be received, obviously. And then something else needs to be given. So this giving and receiving is always flowing. It's like on the surface of the water, these little ripples They are constantly moving, constantly moving. If the system itself interacts with other systems, so this is how one family system is not completely enclosed. Remember the chart, who belongs, second order of love, that in a perpetrator and victim situation and in a partner situation, members from other family systems come into your system. It's not only enclosed as a blood relay. They are exchanging through opening the system in these cases to other members. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to survive, right? It would be an enclosed system. Systems they need to exchange themselves, yeah? So in the greater picture, that is super important. So if a system would exclude others and refuses to exchange at its boundaries to other systems, yeah, it would die and collapse. And I'm always thinking of the Soviet Union or East Germany, where, of course, I grew up with, yeah, how they had to collapse because I don't know whether you know so much history or how close you have been to this part of history, but that's a really good example how these systems, they shut themselves out and they refuse to interact and exchange, especially East Germany to West Germany, anything, how they collapsed and needed to go after 60 years. It wasn't sustainable. Families, remember, are a system, right? So first of all, their members need to exchange constantly, giving and receiving. They have mother, father, child, or ancestors, and partners, right? Equal. And when I say partners, I also mean victim and perpetrator situation, yeah? Because they are also even. We will talk about them separately, but they are also the lake situation, victim perpetrator, right? So there's also an exchange necessary, something that society is completely dismissing in many ways, yeah. Creates lots of suffering. So we will talk about that separately. But it is a system. They have to follow orders, otherwise it would be chaotic and just a field, right? So it's a system. They follow order, and the right order depends on the nature of the relationship where the exchange, takes place. This is why when we think about imbalance, what needs to be exchanged here, what needs to be given, what needs to be received, we need first to establish which relationship we are talking about. Is it an equal relationship, lake, or is it a flowing relationship, stream, yeah, generational? Yeah, we always need to find that out first. So now we come to that, what I mentioned before, unbalanced giving and receiving situation. Who is giving all the time without allowing others to give to them, meaning they don't receive, yeah? They say to the other, better you feel guilty than I. That's just a lovely sentence from Bert Hellinger that is always in the back of my mind. They are not the good guys, yeah? Don't think, and you don't feel good if you have a friend or a family member who is overloading you with gifts and never, no, I don't need anything. No, I don't want anything. That is not comfortable. It's not a comfortable situation because you cannot balance that out. Yeah. They are creating an imbalance, and there's actually a tactic behind, and that is better you feel guilty than I. So these people who are constantly giving, they have a hidden guilt issue. That could be an entanglement, an ancestral thing, of course. Yeah. Also, watch out for people who want to help all the time without being asked. They are collecting debt, right? They are taking note, and one day they will give you the bill for it. Yeah. So stay away from people who are offering help without you wanting it. Yeah. It's not for nothing. Nothing comes for nothing. Everything needs to be balanced. Everything needs to be exchanged. Yeah. In a partner relationship, it is very important that you ask for something the partner can actually give. So remember, not asking for forever love, which you know, there is no forever. A beginning has an end. That's just what it is in life. Even if this goes over multiple lifetimes, there is no forever. But you could ask something realistically they can do right now, like sit here with me and watch a Netflix series, or can you massage my feet or my neck? You know, these little things. If there is an awareness about an exchange of giving and receiving, think of these little things. Or how about you cook dinner tonight? You know, don't wait for them to offer. Take it in your hands. If you feel the need of balance, if you think you have given a lot and your partner needs to do something in order to balance it out, offer them something that you would like to receive. We talked about that. Stay away from pity or, you know, feeling this weird form of sympathy for somebody. Yeah, that is not giving and receiving. That is dividing, because it always puts one in an equal relationship higher. And we talk about that in the case of forgiving as well, right? It always kind of, you know, pity is looking down on somebody. So that's it's not in an equal relationship. It's not an equivalent for giving and receiving. Receiving is more often more difficult than giving due to conscience issues. And this is what we need to practice. We need to practice to receive. If that's an issue for them. If you're a natural receiver, great. If you feel totally comfortable on the receiving end of things, great. But if you always have this urge to give more than, and you want not much in return, then you can practice it. And that would be the little things with your partner, for example, to ask them to massage your neck or take you out to the movies, give them some suggestions. Yeah, don't wait for them to offer that. You are on, the receiver is the one who needs to take action. It's all about receiving, and that's a great thing to practice if that would be an issue. So we have an exercise. We have, is there anything else coming? And of course, no, that's it. So we have our last exercise of this module 1. Of course, we meet the partner in the safe room of the breakout room that you know now. However, just when you were introducing your partners, let me just stop sharing. When you were introducing your partners, it came to my mind that I would like a bit of flexibility here. So I would like you to choose when you represent yourself, if you want to meet your current partner or if you want to meet your former partner. And I highly suggest, I leave it to you, of course, but to meet your former partner, especially if you have children with them, can be probably the most important step that you take for your current relationship. So the imbalance that happens with former partners is that they are not acknowledged for making way for the current relationship. If the former partner wouldn't be able to let go of you, you wouldn't be with your current partner. Yeah. So what is needed in the relationship to the former partner is to say, what do you think? What would you say for what you have received, this freedom you have received? How do you balance that out?
Thank you.
Yes, with a thank you, right? So it's in a relationship, everything that you cannot balance out because maybe the relationship doesn't exist anymore or it was too much, you say thank you. So that is something you can consider in this exercise. You don't have to. When you meet your...
Can I understand something?
Yes.
You said the freedom is given, but I wasn't given any freedom. I took the freedom. I took my freedom. She didn't give me anything.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm married to a woman. I have a very young child, and I left. It was my will and my action to leave. She didn't give me anything. She didn't want me to go. And so I don't understand when you say that, you know, she gave you your freedom, because she didn't.
Well, you are free now, aren't you?
I am free now. Yeah, but that's got nothing to do
There's
with
always
her, has it?
yeah. Well, that's an interesting perception. There's always two. Always. There's not one. There's two. There's you and her.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There is not one. We are talking about a partnership, right? If she is even if she's fighting in court, yeah. For I don't know. I'm just making things up. Whatever you perceive as she's holding you back, but that's like the life you receive from your mother. The result that she did everything right is you exist. The result that she let you go is you are in a new relationship. That's just so obvious that it's hard to find reasoning for that. It's just a simple fact, a result that she had let you go. I mean, she didn't lock you in the cellar or something like that. I'm just saying, yeah. I cannot make up all the situations you can find yourself in, but just look at the fact that you've been able to be free for a new relationship, meaning, and just because you're fighting so much for you be right and be the one who left and she did nothing, is I think you should do the exercise definitely with your ex.
But you see, what I'm struggling with is that 25 years later, she still hasn't let me go, and she's still fighting.
Yeah,
and
see,
it's just
there's something unbalanced. That's exactly what I'm picking up. There's something unbalanced. So I would recommend to you that you choose one of the lovely ladies here to represent your ex-partner, and then you will know what she's about, because this is why we have representatives. No. So don't make this exercise easy for yourself. We want it to have an impact on your path, you know.
So the former partner doesn't have, okay, obviously I never been married. So the former partner is somebody to be together.
It's not about marriages. A marriage doesn't mean anything.
The former partner, the one I was with, is not so long time, but that's also the former partner, right? Not one.
Whoever comes, let's put it that way. Whoever comes to your mind when I say former partner is with whom you have business with, right?
Okay.
Whoever that is, it might be your first boyfriend. I don't know, but whoever comes to mind is the one. If you want to meet your former partner, if you have children with your former partner, that's always recommended to go there and see if there's any unfinished business, because that's what the exercise is for.
I had, well, I mean, now it's a privacy, but I did abortion once. So that will be somebody significant. Maybe I should go back.
Yeah, if that comes to your mind, definitely. Look, you have to trust the morphogenetic field. What comes to mind, what you're fighting with, maybe that's super good. That's what you take. Perfect. Okay. For this exercise. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we go in our breakout rooms. We have, as always, 2 minutes. And what you say is, so when you're with your former partner, you see if you have the thank you in your heart that you can say. Yeah. If you're working with your current partner, up to you. You have the choice of 3 words. Well, you know them by now. Either thank you or please, or what's the third one?
Yes.
Blessing.
Yes.
Blessing.
Yes. Yes, please, or thank you. With your current partner. Yeah. With your former partner, you try the thank you and how that resonates and how the former, and then we share. We come back, of course, and then we share. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Aha, somebody. Not there. Anyhow. So, let's share. Who wants to start?
I can start.
Good, Dave.
Okay.
So I was Yuko's former partner, I think, and I felt very present, and then I felt a sadness.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like just a little pain around my heart area, which
Mm-hmm.
and it was then towards the end of the session, I felt that sadness became that I was sorry. So I don't know how to. I don't know what the feeling was, but I felt that I wanted to say, I almost wanted to say sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very good. Well, very good representation. I'm sure that rings a bell to Yuko.
Yeah.
And Yuko was my wife, my ex-wife. I saw her as she was, and I saw what we had, and I've written a letter to her before thanking her, so I went with that, and I just felt very calm in the whole situation. I felt like the air is very clear for me. It was easy for me to say sorry.
Sorry or
And
thank you?
and I said thank you at the end. And that was mainly for giving me Gabriella, my daughter.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Very good. I forgot to ask you when what did Yuko said when you were her ex-part? Did she say thank you? And how did it feel when she said that?
Oh, it's very genuine. I felt there was a bit
You
of
as a
sadness
partner,
I
you
felt
as
there was a bit of me as her partner. I felt that when she said thank you, that it was it was heartfelt.
Mhm. Good. Well, very good. Thank you for sharing. Right. Yuko.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, about me and David is my boyfriend. I felt we had very, very strong connections, but at the same time, it was interesting. He also needed a help. Like he was, he needed flow of energy from mother as well. I don't know. It's a strange feeling I got. But he wanted to give fully, but
I want to hear what you have experienced looking at your ex-partner.
Feelings. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you. Yeah. Thank you for everything. And so that gratitude. This word comes like David same.
Good.
And
Right.
yeah, being there for me and everything is all
But
that.
you don't even need to reason it. We learned that next module. These are the powerful words, the 3 words. You don't need a reasoning. You don't need to explain it. You use it in the right situation for balancing, giving, and receiving. So the please stands for receiving. The thank you is for giving thanks. You just think about it, but we go through that next month. Yeah. And then the yes is the acknowledging what. So you don't really need to explain for what you are thankful. Right.
Yeah. So it was this, but at the same time, I also felt the sadness kind of, and but yes, but it was very, so, but when I say thank you, and then I start feeling this energy also. It's
Right.
this.
Yeah, because you immediately feel balance is restored, and then the love or life can flow. That's important. This is why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. And then you were representing David's ex-wife, right?
Yes.
How was that for you?
I start feeling the heat on my surface. I don't know, but it's just like heat, like not here, but like forward, that kind of energy. And it's just a heat. This energy cannot stop. It's just like perpetuate, like it's not even that, it's the wrong number, but likes to eat, I don't know.
Like fire?
Yeah, like a fire, not like
Yeah.
a strong fire, but it has this like a heat on my,
Yeah.
So yeah, and I sense that David is maybe it's the element to receive, or like the heat, and the receiver receive, so that she's just doing the one way of not behavior, but the way to treat him, but he's also the one way to receive in that way, and then that really, yeah, I felt that also. I don't know.
That's all right.
And after, when he said thank you, then all this tingle feeling came over my surface.
Instead of the fire.
Instead of fire, it's just like, yeah.
So that's an interesting observation, Dave, that this word has changed the energy. Right. And we don't need to reason that again. We don't need to, mentally. We just observe it's a change. This simple words has changed something, which is amazing in itself. Right?
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Okay, Michelle and Tamara. We speeded a little bit up.
Yeah, so I was myself, and then Tamara was my former partner. So I feel the whole time like sort of he's in a distance and very cold. It's basically just like when we parted. And that was the main kind of visual I had. And I felt, but then there's towards the end, there's a little, he warmed up a little bit. And but there's still this feeling of guilt that's always been there, kind of.
And when you said thank you, did you say thank you?
I did say, but the first thing came to my mind is I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I said that, and then I said thank you. The first time when I said thank you, I felt like it's a little bit forced, not very genuine. And then I said, oh, I felt like I have to say I'm sorry. Then after I said sorry, and I said thank you, and I felt that's more heartfelt. This thank you.
Very good. We will talk, and I forgot about that, so I will briefly talk about forgiveness before we end this. Go a little bit over, because that's important. And then you were representing who?
Yeah, Tamara's former partner. I felt just immediately feel kind of tense. You know, this not anxiety, but just basically tense. My body tenses up. So that was kind of the main feeling the whole time. There was a little pressure on my chest. And when she said thank you, I can visibly see that she is emotional, and then there's a moment of connection, you know, like exchange of some sort.
Some flow.
Yes.
Good. Very good. Thank you. Tamara.
You also said I'm sorry. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, you
maybe
also
I
said
can. Yeah. So when I was me with my ex-husband, yes, I felt judged. Like the ancestry I felt, it's very similar. I felt that I didn't, I felt a little bit judged, but also I judged myself actually, you know, so it's a mirror. So I felt very, very sad. I felt the guilt and all this that that I know actually he feels, and that I cannot change his feelings, and then I feel guilty for that, and I know it's wrong, but it's his feelings, you know, and it's very interesting. I said I'm sorry with a lot of emotions, and thank you, because I really feel it. I could connect with my heart. I could say I'm sorry from deepest knowing of my heart. I felt grateful that I have opportunity to say to him this, because in normal life it's not really open.
Yeah, of course. This is the beauty.
And this is the only
constellation.
space I can do it. And this is the only way I can come to him. So I'm very grateful, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, definitely. That's the purpose.
It's so
of
resistant. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so big resistant. Yeah. So that's one thing. And when I was former partner of Michelle, I felt I felt a strong cold face on me, like playing a cold, you know, but actually inside I was feeling sadness a little bit, and feeling that I'm not good for her, you know, like I'm a little smaller than you. I felt smaller than you, you know, and I couldn't bear it, you know. I don't know what to do. Like, yeah, that was the main one. I felt much smaller, and
which now you know there is an imbalance, because in a partner relationship, you in a balanced one, you would feel equal. You would also feel same size. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's actually exactly what I saw, that he's very small in the distance.
Yeah.
And in our previous relationship, there was one main problem, is this imbalance.
Yes. So, yeah, these representations are absolutely always spot on. Very good. Very good. All right.
Yeah,
and what happened when she said thank you?
Can I just add one sentence? Can I just add one sentence? So this opportunity for me to feel equal with my former partner is very important for my heart. Thank you.
Good. Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, sometimes these little exercises are very profound, and it will shift. It's all setting the groundwork to go deeper into your family system over the time. All the little rocks, which are actually the big rocks that are already lifted. So before I let you go, let's quickly talk about forgiving, because we had the second group, Michelle and Tamara, both, both had the same urge to say sorry to their ex-partners. And in family constellation, so we're talking about family constellation, not real life. You can say I'm sorry in real life as much as you want, yeah. But in family constellation, we are not using it, yeah. Actually, here's another exercise for you. You can do it all month until I see you again. Watch yourself saying how much you say I'm sorry, and in which situation, yeah? And what are you sorry for? And where do you make yourself smaller than the other? Because that's what you do when you ask for forgiveness. When you I'm sorry is a way to ask for forgiveness. When you ask for forgiveness, meaning you put your happiness and your freedom in the hand of somebody else. That's what you say. Now just watch yourself how often you do that in a day, yeah? To random people on the street. Yeah? It's a very powerful way to give your power away. Hmm? So instead of saying I'm sorry, you can say something else. You can say thank you. Because thank you is balancing everything out. Yeah. So let's say a very simple situation. You come late. Somebody's waiting for you. What are you saying? I'm sorry for being late, right? Are you saying that or not?
No.
Oh, you don't say that. Everybody else, but not Tamara. Okay, why not? And what do you say, Tamara?
Because I'm teaching and sharing the knowledge that there is always in divine time and there is no being late.
Okay.
You know,
So
and this doesn't exist. And
Yeah.
the sorry also what you said. Behind the sorry is that
However,
you think you
fact is that you have agreed to do something and you didn't stick to your agreement. So that's imbalanced. Right?
Yes.
You said we meet at 5. The other person was there at 5 and you were there a half an hour later. So now there's imbalance. You know, some has given you trust in the agreement and the time to be there in time and you didn't, right? So imbalance. Now you balance that not out with saying I'm sorry. It is already imbalanced. Now you are kind of balancing it even worse. And worst of all, you don't even expect them to give you absolution, or how is the English word, to give you a free pass. What is the English word, David?
Absolution.
It is correct. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. So, you know, they don't even do that, right? Even if they say, oh, that's okay, they don't mean it. They are boiling inside, you know? But how do you restore true balance is saying, thank you for being patient with me. And thank you so much for waiting for me. And thank you so much for spending your time on waiting for me, you know? So this is how you're balancing it out. And that is something that will truly relieve the other, right? From this imbalance, from this build up. So you can take this example and apply it to wherever you feel you say I'm sorry. And in the best way, you don't say I'm sorry from now on ever again in your life. And you find creative ways to use the 3 words, thank you, please, and yes, to balance out what needs to be balanced. And you will feel so much more free and happy. So this is the reason why we also, especially in family constellation, don't use forgiveness, because it just creates more imbalance. And it cannot heal anything. However, there is this urge, especially in romantic relationships, when a representative, sometimes you have a representative, they say, without even being asked, oh, I feel so guilty, I really want them to forgive me. As a facilitator, we have to stop that. We cannot allow them to do that because we are creating more imbalance, right? So instead, we say, if you really need to balance it out, the only way to balance something out that is impossible to balance out, yeah, is to forget it. Forget it, as if it has never happened, right? You would ask the other person to forget it, not to forgive it. All right. Okay, understand the difference? There is no grudge, there is no memory, there is nothing. It has never happened. That's the only way, if there's no other way with a thank you, please, or yes, to balance it out, to come to an evenness again. Yeah? Forget it. So forgiving equals forgetting, yes. Otherwise, we forget about forgiving. That's nice. Hmm? So in family constellation, we do not use I'm sorry. That's not strong word. That's the opposite. It's weakened. Hmm? Very good. So, oh my gosh, we're a bit over, but we talked a lot today, and that's fine. That's all good. Before I let you go, give me one thing that you have learned in this module, the first module. What has stuck with you? And make it quick. Start with Yuko. What has stuck?
What I've learned?
Yeah,
I didn't
one thing that comes to mind.
Placement, the system, place in order, the flow, direction of the love, flow of love.
In generation, relationship.
Yes.
Very good.
System. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. And David, what is your take-home message?
Well, lots of things, but for me, the awareness of the ancestors has been quite prevalent today.
Great. Thank you. And Tamara?
Also many things, but these stones that we are removing, it's beautiful picture.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Michelle?
Yeah, it's especially the second order and third order, you know, the sequence precedence, and this giving receiving the balance. There's just a very profound, a lot of wisdom, and you feel it's true. You know, you don't question it. You can once. And then the power of the language, I'm really impressed with the power of those simple, powerful words.
And that's wonderful words, Michelle, because that's what we do in the next module. We are looking at the next module at the power of words. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So look at the calendar. Look also on the website to the open workshops when they are. Use your coupon code. There will be one in August. I hope the time is more or less all right for most of you. There will be one in August. I think there's also practice workshop in August, so definitely check that, the time. And a training gathering, TG means training gathering. That's just a time to talk about the training. So that's, if you don't have questions, you don't need to come. It's just if you had questions about the training. Mostly used towards the end of the training when it's about writing the essays, stuff like this. But you can come anytime if you want just to partake in this meetings, yeah. And other than that, in 1 week, the video recordings are up. We watch them. As always, you only grasp, I don't know, a percentage of the information when they are first delivered. So every repetition, you will be amazed how much more is there and information that you haven't really taken notice of the first time. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to see you again soon on Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.